I can look at nature all day long. And I think that's how I bring my magic into my everyday.
Yeah. I I can agree with that. I was recently on this hike and it was in New Hampshire, and New Hampshire is just like so beautiful. And I started to like tear up, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is an like outer body spiritual experience, just witnessing this. I need for nothing else but to sit here in this space as long as possible. We know that you were born magical. We know that you are intuitive, and we know that you are brimming with everyday enchantment. Here at the Sisters Enchanted, we believe in intention, we believe in intuition, and we believe in everyday magic. Welcome in to the Expedition to Soul podcast. I love getting the chance to talk to our community members. And today I am joined by a longtime community member, one of our folks who's been with us for several years now, the one and only Joy Hargraves. Joy, hello.
Hi. Hello, everybody.
Joy, I remember, I think like, because it's been a few years that you've been in our classes. And when you first, I think it was holistic witchery, you took holistic witchery. I
Yes.
don't
Yes.
recall you like really getting on camera, like participating a lot, like live. And then I think Anna had collected like a testimonial from you and got a photo of you. And it was in a marathon and you're running and like, I think you're dressed as an elf maybe, and like you're jumping in the air. And from that photo, it's like, who is this person? And her, she really does seem to radiate joy, which is her name. Yeah, and I think that was my first like connection to who you are.
Yeah, that would have been out at Disneyland. That would have been the 2017 Star Wars light side half marathon. And I was dressed as Buddy the Imperial, Buddy the Elf, but Buddy the Imperial. And I got my first chance to do the infamous castle jump where runners, jump in front of the castle and hope somebody gets their picture. And they got it.
So good. Well, with that little introduction, why don't you tell us more about who you are? Just like who is Joy?
All right. Well, I was born in Davenport, Iowa. I was adopted by an awesome family. And my mother, come to find out, years later, I guess I would have been in my 40s when I joined Holistic Retreat. My mom's been a witch our whole life. And, it took me that long to figure it out. So I've grown up with all of this stuff. And I never made any connection to it because we went to private religious schools, where they're always like, oh no, you can't do this, you can't do that. You're not going to heaven, whatever, whatever they were telling us. So I never tapped into any of it. Then in my 40s, my friend Candy, who is also a long time member of the Sisters Enchanted, she told me about holistic witchery. And I had been doing little research into witchcraft, nature, all of this stuff that my soul has been connected to my entire life. And I'm like, well, what is this? And so she sent me to your website and to your Facebook group, not holistic witchery because I didn't join, Enchanted Journey or something. There was a Facebook
Yeah.
group that was free. And I'm like, okay, let's give this a try. So Candy and I signed up for holistic witchery, holistic witchery. I believe it was 2019. And you're right. I didn't participate in a lot of the meetings at the time. I did call in quite a few times to Carol's meditations, which if you guys have ever done Carol's meditations, I can't recommend them enough. Um, so I did finish holistic witchery, kind of, I guess you could say, on my own. Um, and then it was, I think, almost right after I graduated holistic witchery, a few months later, you guys opened up Expedition Astrology, and I signed up for that. And I've needless to say, I've learned a lot about myself. So I'm the person online that's always saying, I always start this stuff and I never finish. Now I know why. Because part of being, I'm also, my sun sign is Aquarius, and part of being Aquarius is we get bored easily.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, I read about that. I'm like, okay, duh, I've been that way my whole life. Um, so I start things, they interest me, and then I get bored very easily, and I have to move on to the next thing. So no, I haven't finished Expedition Astrology, um, but I plan to. I'm still reading and doing stuff about astrology.
Mhm.
Really just about me because I want to find out about me. But that's me. I'm in my 50s now and still plugging away learning about myself. It's a never ending process.
It's been so delightful to get to know you. 'Cause, now you're in our small group mastermind too. And
Yes.
so we really get to know you, which is exciting.
Yes.
One of the things that you mentioned is meditations with Carol. And I don't know that people listening to this podcast who aren't in our classes, I don't know if they would know really that we have this whole big teaching. Like there are so many faces once you get
So many.
behind those Hogwarts doors.
Yes.
There's so many people, and it's not just me teaching all these things. There's I mean, you've worked with, who have you, even Yolanda,
Oh
Patty,
God,
there's
Yolanda's awesome.
Carol.
Yolanda,
Yeah.
Patty, Stephanie's beautiful.
Yeah.
Um, I think pretty much I've had an opportunity to meet with each one of them as they have time on their schedule. So I
Yeah.
think there's nobody I haven't checked in with yet,
Yeah.
but they're amazing. All of those ladies are just awesome.
I
They
know.
are so good for the soul.
It's so many good faces once you get in there. And then what I love is that I think that when you, a lot of online programs, that there's some challenges in that you have to really dedicate space to show up, because it's not like 6 p.m. every Tuesday at the local community center and people notice if you're not there, you know? um,
Right.
so you've got to like carve out that space. And then I think that what really makes us different is that once you do, there's so many just different people to support you, rather than so many different online programs. I think there's like maybe one or two people that kind of run them, but here there's a whole pile
Yeah,
of us.
and also even if you're not interested in that, once you sign up for one of your courses, this might be a plug to get your listeners to sign up for one of your courses. Um, you've got lifetime access to that course. And now that you guys have moved stuff to Circle, which honestly I think it makes it a lot easier than how you had it before, there are when you open up Circle off to the left, you can find your group, and then there's community hubs. There's a chat room. There's places for you to post progress. There's places, you don't have to necessarily post progress. You can just check in and say, "Yo, guys, what you up to?" or whatnot. So even though you might be done with the course that you have taken, you still have the entire community at your fingertips, which I think has been extremely beneficial for me, because sometimes my mind just goes. I don't it just want well, I'm a wanderer, so my mind just wanders, and if I find something cool, I'm like, oh, maybe I should put this in the enchanted journey group. Maybe somebody needs to hear it. So you kind of like get to do your practice your intuition at the same time you're plugged into this whole entire community. I
Yeah.
think it's great.
Yes, we do. We love to bring the community support, the teacher support, and really just, I love that. I love that sense of making, we always want to create the environment where there's not a like guru or a person who knows the answers, so you can get in there and,
Yeah.
you said, practice your intuition and grow in faith and trust in yourself. And that's why too, we love to bring in so many different support people, so that there really is the sense that there's not one person who is going to solve your
Oh, no, there's
problems
not.
or like
There's
tell
a
you the right way.
whole, yeah, you've got an incredible staff. And I'm honestly, I think actually, I did think of one person that I have not had a session or any interaction with, and that's Nick. And I'm sorry. Hi, Nick. Um, and the other thing that you guys do by connecting your, I'll say community members, but students, you connect your students. And I had the opportunity to meet in person one of, I won't use names because I don't know how this person would feel. So I got to meet a fellow classmate at Disney this year.
Yeah. I saw that photo and was so excited. It's like meeting people out in the wild.
Yes. And Disney is definitely wild.
Like you all actually exist out in the real world.
Exactly. Yeah. And then it gives you a different, I guess even for me, a different mindset because I can be extremely introverted at times. Like, don't even. Um, but it enabled me to kind of step out, get over the nervousness of meeting new people, which has always been an issue my whole life, but I'm getting better, which might sound weird because I go to Disney all the time. Um, but I tend to put shields up. So it's easier for me to walk around with all those people. But getting a chance to meet another
Yeah.
person from these classes was really special.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. And I loved seeing the photo, like I said. Yeah, that's one of the things. I don't know if you share this. You're a Disney person. Like you
Oh,
love.
absolutely. I've got, my tattoos are all Star Wars or
Yeah.
where is it? Where is he? Oh, he's here. I have a Jedi stitch right here. So yes, I love Disney.
Well, talk about everyday magic. I don't think there is anything like more everyday magic than Disney World.
No, because it has the ability to turn me back into a 4-year-old. So I'm very grateful every time I go.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I haven't been in so long. It's definitely on the list of things to do.
You had an opportunity.
I know, I did. I know. Maybe this coming spring. It seems like such an undertaking with to plan it and get there. What I don't know. Maybe I'm just making mountains out of molehills, though.
Yes, because you
Probably.
have a helper. You have a
I do.
helper.
I should tap into the helper, the network that is TSE. What was I saying?
Yes.
One day we had one of our group
Oh,
calls
it's
for
raining.
oh,
I'm out on our lanai right now
oh.
because my husband's still sleeping, but it just started to rain. I love it.
We were in one of our small group calls, and what was I saying about that this was like the group you wanted. I don't know if you were there for this one, but we have like ex-military, ex-police officers. We've got people who are one person in our community, I forget what it is, like martial arts trained.
Oh,
There
wow.
was, yeah,
I
and
might have
then
missed that one.
but everybody, like, it just was one of those calls where random information was coming out, and I just stepped back for a second and was like, this is if there's trouble, I know who to call. Like, I got people.
You do have people.
And I
Yep.
got Disney people too. So I don't know what
Yes,
I'm
you
doing.
do.
Like
Yes,
we
you
got
do.
we got people here who have skills and know some things about some things.
Oh, for sure. And
Um
we all seem to be pretty awesome too, if I must say.
yes, I agree. So tell me, so you shared holistic witchery, astrology. What is one thing, or is there one thing that you can point to that you've really noticed has shifted in your life or changed for you since becoming part of the Sisters Enchanted community?
There's probably a few things, but I think the biggest thing that has happened to me through this journey happened very, very recently, like within the past 2 months. And again, I was talking to Yolanda and Patty about it. They're awesome. Um, I have realized that my entire life, I have not been able to accept myself. Like I can accept everybody around me, um, but not once in my life have I ever told myself that I love myself. And I haven't. And I was talking to Yolanda and Patty. I wrote some stuff down to help me through that part. And a couple of weeks ago, at the end of my I was doing yoga. At the end of one of my yoga sessions, I was able to tell myself that I'm a good person. So going from somebody who grew up with an amazing mother, tried to instill everything she could in me, and I think she did a dang good job, to, having personal traumas happen, and then you lose sight of yourself, and then coming full circle to where you can actually admit to yourself that you're a good person. I haven't gotten to the self-love part yet, but I'm working on it. But that shift, if you look at the timeline of when I started this, in I think it was 2019, it's only 2023. That's kind of a short time frame to have taken all of this learning in, practice some of the stuff that we learn, and to get to the point that I'm at now, that I'm doing the self-acceptance part. I call it self-acceptance part of self-love. I think is pretty darn amazing. And I think that I would say that that's the biggest shift that I've had in my entire life. And I would honestly say it's because I stepped into this community, because I don't think this would have happened if I wouldn't have been comfortable with not only the way that my mother raised us, but comfortable with knowing this magic in me exists, and it's okay,
Yeah.
to let this magic out and practice it. I honestly don't think it would have happened if I hadn't joined the Sisters Enchanted community. I really don't.
Oh, well, I love that happened for you, because I remember meeting with you just earlier in the year, or towards the end of last year, sometime, uh, you know, a ways away
Yeah,
now, but and just like hearing about the different things that you perceived as weaknesses in your life, and now hearing you with the self-acceptance and self-love,
yes,
and like knowing you're pretty
yes.
great, is such an amazing shift to
I'm
witness.
getting there. Yep. Thank you. I'm getting there.
Tell me, what is your like favorite magic thing? How do you bring everyday magic into your life?
Okay, so I would consider myself a total nature slash cosmos slash sea witch, ocean, river, water witch, I guess. But when I get up in the morning and I let the dog out, or I take the dog for a walk, I am always looking, and I'm doing it now, I'm looking for the birds. Um, I've been talking to the birds now for quite some time, and you know how you talk to your dog and you're like, oh, I wonder if he really understands me. Well, I do the I do the same with the birds. The crows make their noises, and I'm like, hey buddy, how you doing? I don't know, I just find connecting to nature, for me, is the absolute most amazing thing, like, my heart has ever done.
Yeah.
I love it. Just so I think that's how I try to bring the everyday magic in. Because whether I'm back here on the lanai looking out to the forested area behind our house, or even sitting at my window, my I work from home, and my home office is up front, and I have two decent sized windows that I can rotate the slats to look out. So I have nature. I can look at nature all day long, and I think that's how I bring my magic into my everyday.
Yeah. I I can agree with that. I was recently on this hike, and it was in New Hampshire, and New Hampshire is just like so beautiful. And I started to like tear up, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is an like outer body spiritual experience, just witnessing this. I need for nothing else but to sit here in this space as long as possible.
Yes, I totally get it. I totally get it.
Yeah, I resonate with that, Joy. Definitely resonate
Awesome.
with that.
Awesome.
Um, what's your favorite? Can you dig into your sister's enchanted archives for a second? What's your
Oh
favorite
boy.
like lesson or class or
Oh wow. Oh, let me see. Um, I think so. One of it was the astrology. I think it was the unit one I don't know, test out, whatever. We had to like
yeah, the story?
write your story. And what I ended up doing is I wrote a story visualizing myself walking through the doors of every house on the astrology wheel. And as I was doing that, I could actually visualize myself in those rooms. And it was one of the coolest things I've ever gotten to write because it was like I was here typing on my computer, but I really wasn't here. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So I do remember that. So I think that was one of the remarkable lesson that I've had thus far.
that's a really cool exercise.
Yeah, it's fun.
Okay.
Sign up for Expedition Astrology, people. Sign
I know it
up.
is so. I think that I obviously, I mean, like I'm biased and I love everything we do here. And I'm completely biased. I think it's the best ever and everyone should
Yeah,
join everything. But um astrology really helped me understand uh understand myself, but even more so understand how I relate to other people, you know, like
yes,
it
yes.
really helped me with that in particular.
Yep.
Um,
Yes, I would totally agree.
yeah, which changed so much. I mean, I've shared before, but learning about rising signs and that I'm a Cancer rising and my husband's a Capricorn rising and that those are opposite signs, just that little bit of information, like in really changed how I react to my marriage because I was always like thinking we were just never going to get along and we would never agree on anything. And then I learned
Right.
that and I was like, well, we actually probably won't ever agree on anything because we're those are opposite signs
Exactly.
in your
Yep.
rising and that doesn't mean anything. It just means we probably won't ever see things the same. It doesn't, you
No,
know.
yeah. But that's total but that's fine. That's totally
Right.
fine. Yeah,
Exactly.
and that's
Yeah.
another thing I've learned through my journey here with Sisters Enchanted that, you know, people are different and that's what makes us beautiful and unique. And, you know, everything is so I don't know, just charged. There's a lot of charged energy in the world today.
Mhm.
And people have gotten to the point that they're like, well, if you don't agree with me, we can't be friends. Well, that's the biggest BS thing I've ever heard in my entire life because our differences are what make us unique. And there's always something you can learn from somebody, even if you don't agree with them. My husband and I, politically, I am like, well, okay, I will admit we do agree on some things, but usually we don't agree on anything politically, which is fine. That doesn't mean I have to hate him.
Yeah.
No, I love this man more than my own life and I would do anything for him. But with that particular subject, we're never going to agree. So let's just agree to disagree and get on with our amazing life. I mean, come
Yes.
on.
Exactly. Exactly. That is one of the things that I, as a person who has a business that is off that's on social media, over the years, there's been this the last, we've been doing this for 7.5 years. And so I think all of us can think of all the things that have happened in the last 7.5 years.
Oh,
And
yes, we
there
can.
has tended to be this, like you must make your stance publicly on social media
No.
or else like, and I've received some backlash from people that don't really matter here, but that have said, you're not taking your stance, you need to like speak and take a stance. And my thing has always been though, but it's not about what I believe in. It's about creating a container where people are free to be kind, number one, and be themselves. And that's really where I draw our line, is kindness. So if somebody, not you, if a person comes in to our community and is different from somebody else, and then there is a lack of kindness in that interaction, that's where we then say, hold the phone. We've got to be kind. But else I don't, I think it's such an injustice to every person to think that you must agree with me in order to be welcome or be whole here with us. That's not okay.
No, because you're never going to agree. There's always going to be somebody who doesn't like you. There's definitely going to be people that you don't like, and that's probably I don't know how to word it, but I don't want to be disrespectful, but there's just going to be people you're not going to get along with. And that's when the tools that you learn here with the Sisters of Enchanting can come into play, because then you can see, okay, well, does this person that I disagree with really need to be in my life? And you can take a gentler stance with releasing that person from your life rather than making this Sermon on the Mount. Oh, so-and-so doesn't agree with me, so I unfriended them on Facebook and I'm never going to talk to them again. Okay, well, that's your personal thing. We probably don't need that energy released into the wild. So just quietly disconnect yourself from that person and just let it go. You don't need to announce to the world that, I don't know. That's just me. I think that I've calmed down a lot since I've been here too. Like I've had a better understanding of my own anger and where that comes from. And I do believe that some of this stuff is from instances that could have happened when you were younger, like adopted, being taken away from your birth mother probably can be traumatic on the baby. I don't know. I haven't dived into that, but definitely the way that your parents raise you, you learn from your parents. And both of my parents did have a lot of anger that while they didn't fight in front of us, we could feel it.
Yeah.
So being here, I've learned some of the tools on how to redirect that anger and be able to let it go in a way that doesn't hurt me anymore. Does that make sense?
It does. Yes.
Yeah. So lots of benefits to all of this.
Oh, my heart's overflowing. Overflowing heart right now. All right, Joy, we're going to do two things. I'm going to ask you a little this or that. We're going to do a couple questions.
Yay. Okay.
All right. And then right before we go, I'll just ask you if you have one thing that you would say to anybody listening. So we'll do that at the very end. So if you want to, I don't know how you can think about that and answer questions at the same time. Alas,
I've already got my answer, so that's good.
Okay. This is a question I've never asked before. Are you a person who needs absolute silence to sleep, or do you require some kind of white noise?
Actually, it depends on what's going on. So I do sleep with earplugs because I will wake up at the drop of a pin on carpet. But if my husband's snoring and I can't sleep, I will put my earbuds in and I will listen to brown noise, not white noise. But brown noise is my jam.
Yeah. I just learned about that like this year, all the different kinds of noise. Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. My gosh, my family is a noise family. Even if we just have to go to a hotel overnight for a quick stopover on a road trip, we bring a fan in case the air conditioner doesn't stay on the whole time, and it cuts. Everybody will wake up and no one will go back to sleep. So we are those people who bring a giant floor fan into every place we go to. It goes with us everywhere.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. Have to have room for that. All right. Are you a person who sort of likes to stay home in one place, or do you like to get out there, see the world, and be on the go?
Oh, I do love traveling. Oh my God, I love traveling because again, I'm a wanderer. I get bored easily. So, um, I think joining the Navy was one of the best things that I did. Even though I was only stationed in Florida, Hawaii, and Diego Garcia, um, when I was stationed in Hawaii, we deployed everywhere. Even after 9/11, of course, we were gone for months at a time. Um, but I've been all over the world. There's a few places that I haven't gotten to, um, that with the way things are in the world now, I might not ever get to. You know what I mean? But yeah, I love traveling. I love it.
Yeah. I knew that about you. So I thought I knew the answer to that, but I didn't know if I'd be surprised. Are you a tea or coffee person?
Coffee.
Hmm. Yeah. This one I always ask, and then I have to remind myself that it could just be like really regional to where I live, that it's such an important question, but I'm going to ask you, tacos or pizza?
Oh, come on. Can I have both?
So a lot of people answer with taco pizza.
Oh my God. Yeah, let's do taco pizza.
Taco pizza. Taco pizza is so good. When I was in college, there was a pizza place right by my apartment, and my roommate and I would always like be texting each other. So who's gonna grab the taco pizza on the way home? Because that's pretty much all we eat. Taco pizza. All right. Do you prefer to read a book or listen to an audible book?
I have to do Audible. I am an impulsively slow reader, and I will be on the same page or two for weeks at a time. I do love reading, but I just can't. And when I found out about Audible, I'm like, oh, let's do this from now on.
Yeah. I love that self-awareness. And it just gets you right
Yes.
through. All right, let's see here. I've got three more for you. Tarot cards or oracle cards?
Oh, tarot.
Yeah, I agree.
And I just bought a new one. An AI, machine learning printed and like designed them. I don't know if I did post
You
some
did post
in
them.
Master. I think, yeah. Oh, they're so gorgeous. I
Yeah.
can't wait to dive into them.
I saw the pictures and I didn't go back and comment, but I saw them and I was like, those are so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pancakes or waffles?
Waffles.
That is
Mickey
that.
waffles.
Of course, Mickey waffle. All right, our last one. And I think I might know the answer, but I'm not sure. Like, would you prefer being in the mountains or right on the beach in the ocean?
Oh, beach, beach, beach,
I
ocean.
knew you were going to say that.
So I have another one for you. When you mentioned regional,
Yeah.
I honestly thought you were going to say Duke's mayonnaise or other mayonnaise.
Well, what's your answer to that one?
Duke's, of course.
There are so many. One of the things, like when I talk to people, somebody was on our podcast, a Sarah, another Sarah, talking about take and bake pizzas from the West Coast, and apparently that's a thing where like you order the pizza the way you want it, but they don't cook it, so you go pick it up and then you bring it home and bake it. So like you're familiar with this? That
Yeah,
is
they do
not.
that in Chicago too.
Yeah, like that is, I mean, I've lived in the Midwest and I still had never heard of it. And then otherwise, I'm like mostly East Coast US, like knowledgeable. And I was like, that's a thing that you just order it and then bring it home and
Yeah.
cook it.
Yep.
Never heard of that.
Yeah. Especially with the Chicago
Yeah,
deep dish.
such a
And they can
big,
even flash, some of them even flash freeze them and then they ship it to you and then you cook it.
it's a big wide world out there.
Yes, it is.
We here where I live, pizza's like a pretty big
Oh,
deal.
yeah.
Like so
Yeah.
like people take their pizza very seriously around here.
Yes.
And maybe
I
that's why we
totally
don't have
get it.
take and bake. I don't know. Um, all right. But your last this is your last words here for anybody listening to this. Maybe they are just feeling a little excited listening or a little on the fence about what to do next in their life, what would you say to them?
So here's honestly, this is what I would recommend. Sign up for all the free emails that you can. There's a lot of good stuff out there. Sign up for all of the free activities the Sisters Enchanted puts out during the year. And then using all of that, decide if you're ready to make the next step into signing up for some of the courses. You can go to the website, look at all the courses that they have to offer, and just, take a think, sit down with yourself, grab a cup of coffee or water, whatever, or just sit outside and just have a think on it to see if this is something that you want to do. I can tell you from experience, it is extremely beneficial to my life. And I would hope that in one day it would prove to be very beneficial for your life too.
Yay. Well, thank you so much, Joy, for hanging out with me this morning. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Yeah, totally. Thank you. Thanks for
Yeah.
having me. And thank you, everybody, for listening.
Yeah, so good. All right. All of our listeners, as Joy said, you can always head to our website, thesistersenchanted.com, or you can reply to any emails or tag us on social media or message or whatever you need to do to get a hold of us. We are here to point you in the right direction. But thanks again, Joy, for hanging out. And to everybody listening, until next time, I hope that you have an enchanted rest of your day ahead. If you liked this episode of the Expedition to Soul podcast, please rate, review, subscribe. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, it will really help us spread everyday magic, intention, and intuition to the masses and helps us so much as a small business. Be sure to hit that subscribe button on your favorite podcasting platform so you never miss an episode. There are new episodes every Tuesday. And as always, thank you so much for listening and being part of the community here at the Sisters Enchanted. And we'll see you in the next episode.